Hi, folks. Welcome to the Fly podcast. This is our first episode. In this episode, we shall have a candid conversation with Ashima Garg, who is a part of PGP 2024 cohort and has just started her program at ISB. The conversation will mostly be around her background, her journey to ISB, and most importantly, her advice to the candidates who are thinking of applying to ISB this year. So, without any further delay, let's begin. So, hey Ashima, how are you?
Hi, Devant. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good as well. So, hey, first of all, thanks for doing this podcast. This is our first Fly podcast, right? And by the way, congratulations on your ISB admit.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm very happy to help because I also got help from Fly. So,
All right.
happy to.
Nice to hear. Thanks for doing that. Anyway, so let's get started, right? For our listeners, can you share with us firstly your background?
So I'm an architect and urban designer by education. After that, I actually worked in the real estate and infrastructure industry for about 5 years. And after that is when I decided that I want to graduate and move into the business side of my industry. And that's when I decided I'll probably need another MBA education. So that's where I am now.
Got it. Understood. No, fair enough. Right when you decided that you wanted to do your MBA, what were some of the reasons for you to pick ISB as your target school?
So honestly, at first, it just started as a personal preference and some of the parameters that I had to check in my personal space. So after coming from 5 years of education and 7 years of education that I'd already done in my bachelor's and master's, and after that 5 years of experience, I wanted a short course. So I was looking at all the 1 year courses that were available, which would have been the ISB courses and the executive management courses that are provided by IIMs in India, and it started off with that. And ISB is one of the great institutes for this 1 year PGP course. And that's how I targeted ISB at first. And after that, though, it just has a labyrinth of advantages, the diversity that is most acceptable in ISB, and the alumni network and the great faculty from around the world that they have. And just the sheer numbers in terms of the ranking in the global scenario of ISB. I mean, that's just. I mean, there's a lot of research after that why ISB, but it started out as a personal choice.
Fantastic. And you were very clear right from the beginning that you wanted to stay back, you wanted to stay in India itself, right?
Yeah, again, that's driven more from the personal perspective. I wanted to be in India around family, and this is where I and exactly I didn't want to move outside of the country, which is why I was targeting at 1 year courses within India.
Correct. No, fantastic. And the other question that I have is, this is like very specific to ISB. Now you know that ISB has a lot to offer for all its students, right? And so just trying to understand here, what would be that one area that you would be focusing on while at ISB?
So I've read a lot about what I'll be expecting in the next 1 year, spoken to a lot of people who have gone through the process. And one thing that really is exciting me is the sheer comprehensive and wholesome personality development that is said that this course actually transforms you. So that is something that I'm really looking forward to. And this in terms of both aspects of academics and social. So academically, since I come from a diverse niche background, getting through to, job placements and all of that. So, getting that experience and that platform to apply for other jobs in other industries, that is something that this course is going to bring. And that's something that academically I'll be exposed to. But even apart from that, this will probably be my last time that I'll be living a college life. So I really intend to enjoy that aspect also, speak to people from many different backgrounds, and try out new things, like photography. That's, for an example, that's something that I haven't had my hands on yet, so maybe that's something I'll try. And I was actually recently given a great advice by a friend that if you feel like you're uncomfortable in any situation during the course, just be there, don't walk out, and that's where your personality development will happen. So that's something I'm looking forward to.
Got it. Got it. So basically, trying to expand your horizons is something that you would be taking up while at ISB, right? To put it such.
Right.
Got it. Got it. Good to hear. So let's go back a bit in your journey, right? And I know that you are a reapplicant.
Right.
So can you help us walk through your admissions journey per se? Meaning, what did you enjoy the most, and what were some of the challenges you faced, while in this entire admissions process?
So I think starting off, my first hurdle was to get a good GMAT score. That ISB is one of the institute that has a very high average GMAT. So that is something that I had to really target and work towards. So which was also combined by a few other things in my application that now I know did not go as well. Like my recommendation strategy was probably not as great. I missed the first two rounds because, again, of personal reasons. And then just the sheer way that I wrote my application, now I know that storytelling could have been much better. So those are some of the few things that I faced a challenge with back then, and which I managed to correct now. So and right, just getting over these things and trying to actually understand how to put forward your story in the application, because it's very specific as to how many spaces of writing that you have, and how many characters you can use, and how to really tell your story, and you know portray yourself as a eligible candidate through that.
Right.
It was something that was a really great learning opportunity for me.
Right.
So
Got it.
so that was good.
Understood. And how did our team, our mentors from Fly, help you succeed in getting through ISB?
So actually a lot. So after my after my application previously this year, I wanted to go in more structurally in terms of the whole process. So I did a complete pre-planning of how I would work on all the aspects of the admissions, and starting with my GMAT, improving on that, and then the my essays, and all the other aspects of my application, plus the interviews. So Revant, you from Fly, you helped me a lot with my essay reviews, and gave me a great feedback on that, on where I should, what piece of information is actually necessary, what I should highlight on, where it actually fits in the whole structure of the essay. All of those little details of review of the essay that you gave me was very, very helpful. And not just the essay part, you also helped me with the interview preparation. And it was not just a generic question answer session. What it was, the feedback that you had given me during the interview, I still remember, was very personalized to how I speak and how I can improve upon my delivery. For
Right.
example, you told me that I speak fast, and that is something that, and I should, be more comprehensive and more structured in how I should speak. And that is a feedback that will probably stay with me throughout my life. It's not just this interview that I had given, even like future job interviews that I'll be giving. This will probably be something that I'll be very mindful of. So thank you very much.
No, you're being very generous here, and thanks a lot for the feedback anyway. I'll take this as the compliment. All right. So I have two more questions for you, right? So the first question is that if you look at it, right, the entire admissions process, you have multiple components to take care of. Broadly, we have GMAT, recommendations, application in itself, and later it will be the interviews. Now, can you pick any one amongst these and then tell us something that you found, slightly counterintuitive to the information or guidance that you found on the internet?
Okay. So I mean, I read something on the internet as well as was actually guided by somebody I had spoken to earlier regarding recommendations. So here I'll speak a little bit about that. This is also where I think my previous application went slightly wrong. So I was sort of in the impression that it's better not to take a recommendation from your supervisor, immediate supervisor, or somebody who is sort of has and that was like a blanket statement that was given to me, and I stuck to that. But I think it's very subjective based on what relationship you actually have with your supervisor. If you can have a transparent, open conversation with them about what you want to do in the future, and you know that that person will not sabotage your application, then you should probably go ahead, and there's no harm in actually getting a recommendation from them, and that's the best thing. And somewhere on the internet, I read that the higher the designation, that carries more weightage in terms of how the recommendation is perceived. But I don't think that's true. An honest, a well-written, honest feedback on from the recommender's side is something that probably is more valuable. And your immediate supervisor can probably give you that. So if you have great relations with your supervisor, you should probably go ahead with that. And in the hindsight, I think I should have done that in the first place, in my first round of application.
So. Got it. So basically, rather than going for someone where that person is very kind of like unfamiliar with your work,
exactly,
go with someone under whom you worked.
You worked substantially with, and who can actually pinpoint your skills and your strengths. And that is more human and believable to the person reading it on the other side also.
Right. No, that's very important, and that's a good one, Ashima. And moving on, finally, one last question is that what's that one advice that you would like to give to folks, who are thinking of applying to ISB this year?
Okay, so I think this question comes up a lot, and I think it's answered multiple times over the internet and other places also. But I think especially for ISB, your GMAT GRE score is not the ultimate, is what I learned from my experience. I improved a little bit on my GMAT score, but I worked even harder on my application this time. So, perfecting all parts of my application, whether it was essays or the job description bit, or even extracurriculars and hobbies and interviews, of course. So, but even perfecting all sections of it and making sure that all those checkboxes are ticked was very, very important for me. And that is something that I learned from my own mistakes. So that's something that I would tell everybody else also, that, I mean, even if you have a great GMAT GRE score, that's not going to, guarantee an admit. So make sure that you're that proactive and get your reviews from seniors, alums, or, agencies like Fly, who can actually help you out and guide you on what is actually correct. Because, just from personal experience, I am not from a background. As I said, I'm an architect, urban designer. I'm not from a technical background per se. And writing a CV was not something that was taught to me. So it was very new for me as a learning experience to actually write and quantify your achievements. So that is that was actually a learning for me that how to portray your achievements in a short manner, how to quantify that, and how it should be concise for the reader. So that's something that needs work on.
Got it. So basically, and this is very much true, right? ISB looks at all the components
Exactly.
of your profile, and GMAT, while yes, having a good GMAT score might contribute positively in your entire admissions process, that one component is not going to make or break.
Exactly.
So that's what it is. And so yeah, so this entire podcast was super helpful, Ashima, and thanks a lot for
Thank you so much.
doing this for us. Really appreciate it. And all the best for your ISB.
Thank you so much. I really look forward to the transformational year ahead.
And cut.